I guess it's time to start talking about the beard. I don't normally wear a beard, but I figured I might as well grow one since all the young kids are doing it. Especially that I think, they're doing this so they can feel like a man. I read somewhere that when the population of women gets higher than the population of men, the 50-50 is less, for the men. They're like 47% or something like that. That historically, that's when they start growing beards, is to look manly to the, oh geez. It's not very often, but sometimes the beard just starts coming up and it needs to be drunk, like all of us. But so then you've got this thing where people grow beards and they look more attractive to women, they look more manly, but and then I look at these things where they've got commercials with Keith Hernandez and people like that. You got a comedian up there trying to push, well, he was on Seinfeld, trying to push a beard thing. Really, the only reason to have a beard is to put on your silverback look. You just, that's what it's about. So, I don't understand the kids, they're growing these beards, and yeah, go ahead, do it. This is what, 4 months, I don't know, day after Halloween. I always keep a clean shave on All Hallows Eve, the saints are coming, let the saints come marching in. But then, so you got that. They feel so insecure about their manhood that they just got to grow a beard to show that they can. They're grown up, I wonder about that. And then you got the man bun. Why not just call it a bun? It's a bun. But oh no, I don't. Women wear buns. We got to call it a man bun so nobody knows that we're just being a bunch of bitches. Something like that. I don't know how it works. I don't know how they think. You got menopause. They say every 6 weeks a man goes through some cycle, that the same thing a woman goes through every 4 weeks, but a man goes through some kind of cycle with the hormones and everything. They change. We get melancholy a little bit. It's menopause once you reach a certain age. So call it that. They've got some name for it. And why is it that now that we've started naming hurricanes after men, we still call them hurricanes? Shouldn't it be a hissy fit? I don't know. All this stuff, all this thing about being afraid of not being enough of a man. It's like a t-shirt contest, What are you wearing today? It's like, I don't know. Let's have a favorite t-shirt day. And you get to show off, So on favorite t-shirt day, I showed up with this shirt, which I had Mary Franco made for me. She went to Daytona. She does it every year for Bike Week at the place I worked for 9 years before. And she said, "Oh, Richard, I want to get you a t-shirt. What would you like?" And I remembered being in Daytona in 1987. And in a t-shirt shop, there was this gorilla with these spiked things coming off it. And he had ammo belts across his chest and a huge penis, and he was masturbating furiously. And the shirt said, if you can't eat it or fuck it, tear it up. That's what the shirt said. And I said, if you can find that shirt, I would love it. And I only did that because this sweet little old woman, I get great pleasure out of sending a sweet little woman in a shop asking for a shirt with a jerking off gorilla saying, if you can't eat it or fuck it, tear it up, and she repeated it to me, and I said, no, you got it wrong. You got to write it down. And she wrote it down. Tear it up, because that's the point. She comes back with this shirt. She didn't get the gorilla jerking off, but that's a good gorilla. But it says throw it out, and I was just disgusted. You didn't get it right. It's not about throwing something out just because you can't use it. It's about tearing it to pieces and making it know that it's no good for you. It's no good for no one. That's so. On favorite t-shirt day at work, I went in with 3 t-shirts, and this is the first one I wore, and I was in that place for about 2 hours before the office people showed up, and I was up in the offices because I'm somewhat of an important person. And the girl that acted like she was a virgin, but I heard otherwise, like she was she looked and she saw this shirt, and I'm upset. Mary got it wrong, throw it out. But she looked at that shirt and she's, and I said, okay, time to change my shirt. So I walked out of the room. And I came back in with my second favorite shirt. Motorhead, baby. England. Been there, had a beer there. I used to live there. I showed up like this, looking like a goddamn zombie rolling out of the woods in the office the next time, and they were like, and I looked, and the plant manager standing there looking through the window, and he was just going, and he's a very serious man. This is how I made a connection with this guy. He doesn't talk to anybody, and we never ever had to talk at all after this moment. I was walking out, and I looked at him, and I said, I got another one. And he says, oh, I like Motorhead. I just saw them this last tour. And I said, this shirt got all torn up because what do you call it? A cinder block. We had to get into the crawl space of a house. We couldn't find the trap door down to the crawl space. It turned out to be under the oven. But there was a vent thing in one of the 8x16 cinder block things that you could get through. Nobody thought you could, but I knew I could, because as a child I learned if I can get my head through something, I can get all the way into it. And we pulled that thing off, and it peeled my shirt all the way to hell. This was a favorite shirt of mine, and it still fits like a glove. And then after that, I was like, I guess I gotta change my shirt again. Oh, be careful. It's very delicate. And there. I had a third shirt that I put on. And this is, look at that. Baghdad or Fort Bragg, 10-mile run, New Year's Day, 1991. I used to get into these running things. Look, there's a parachute. And there's a country, even though we never got to jump there. Sons of bitches. Anyway. I ran in that 10-mile run, and I got it in 65 minutes. My first mile was 5 minutes and 5 seconds. My third mile was 16 miles and 18 seconds, 16 minutes and 18 seconds. And then I finished in 65 minutes, and I found out without knowing what an algorithm was that I did an algorithm. A PhD person that I know looked at it and said, "That's an algorithm." I said, "I don't know what the fuck that is." Nobody ever told me what an algorithm is, but I figured out how many minutes it took me to run every mile in that 10. And I like this shirt, so I wear it. It's been through a lot. 1991? That's not even 30 years old. That's not even old enough to get married. And so I put that shirt on and wore it the rest of the day. But then, if we're talking about favorite t-shirts, there it is. This is the one right here. This is one that got cut off of me. See, I rarely wear a shirt unless I've been there, unless I've done it. And this shirt, this Creator Pleasure to Kill shirt, Flag of Hate. I bought it at a show in San Francisco, and I'd never seen Creator, but I liked them very much. And I with some, what did they call it? Trepidatory, some bullshit. I bought it, and it was fresh, and it was dark black, and it was bright red, and it was new, and it's got this guy, this whole Pleasure to Kill. He looks like the devil himself, but he doesn't care. All these devils themselves are coming up and fighting him. He's just killing. He's just having fun with it. He doesn't choose sides. He chooses his own way. And I happened to be wearing this shirt when I got run down on my motorcycle a few years ago, and they cut it off in the emergency room. When they were letting me go, they said, "You can go home now," and they gave me a bag, and I pulled out my pants. They were cut in half. I pulled out my shirt. It was cut in half. I'm like, I'm supposed to walk out like this, so I should have been wearing the hospital scrubs they just gave me to get out. But this shirt, the neighbor downstairs, she sewed it back together. This is a Franken shirt, and it makes it look like this fucker's throwing a bolt of lightning down on something. But the thing is, just a couple of years ago with Gerald, I went and watched Creator, and I got to wear this shirt. So this shirt is now valid. It's a shirt that I have a relation to. Took many years, but it's what it's been about. It's about growing a beard and wearing a shirt. Makes no sense at all.